Happy Saturday, glad you're doing well. Welcome to Newsfeed this afternoon. My name is Flora Limuki. Let's kick off this bulletin. The recommendation by President William Ruto that could set the stage for constitutional amendments is already raising heated debate with leaders from both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, locking horns online. While those in Kenya Kwanza say the president is in order for calling for amendments, those in the opposition are calling out the president for pushing amendment to the constitution, which he criticized during the BBI process. The president wants, among other things, the creation of an office of the official leader of opposition to cure what he says was a constitutional shortfall on the full post-election fate of the minority side. The president wants members of the two houses to spearhead the process after the Supreme Court in the BBI case affirmed that the head of state lacks authority to initiate changes to the constitution.
Of Parliament, the mace is just entering the chamber.
Following the drought situation in some parts of the country, the Kenya Red Cross Society has published a report which indicates that 6.4 million Kenyans will be facing starvation by January 2023, up from 5.1 million. Kenya Red Cross Society Secretary General Dr. Asha Mohammed said there is need to have immediate measures to address the situation as the country heads to its sixth failed season. The SecGen also noted that Kwale County is currently in the alarm phase and soon might be declared to be in the emergency phase.
And the prediction is that the rains of March to May 2023, and Allah knows better, we are headed for a sixth failed season as a country. And there is a projection to say, if we don't also put drastic measures, today we are saying 5.1 million people are affected. By the new year, we will be saying 6.4 million Kenyans will need food assistance.
Tukishirikiana, janga la njaa tutalimaliza ndani ya kaunti hii. Kwa hivyo tunauliza washikadau wote kwa uwezo walionao, tushikane mikono badala ya kuwa kila mwaka tuwe twachanga kwa sababu ya relief food, tuwe tunaweza kujisimamia katika masuala mazima ya kujikimu chakula.
Na hili ni jukumu letu kama ni viongozi, ni jukumu la kila binadamu kufanya hivyo. Na tukiendelea hivi, nina imani Kwale, na haijawahi tokea, lakini haitawahi kutokea kwamba ati kaunti ya Kwale kuna mtu ambaye ameathirika kiasi cha kupoteza maisha yake kwa sababu ya kukosa chakula.
Despite rains being experienced in most parts of the country, Kajiado County is still grappling with the effects of drought. At Oloibor Ajijik Emati in Mushuru, devastated women narrate tales of the pain of being breadwinners without a source of income. Nation Kabale with more.
Despite the onset of the short rain season, residents of Kajiado County continues facing hunger as a result of the drought situation. They're now depending on well-wishers who donate food, which is never enough for them because of the size of their families.
Ninapoamka asubuhi, ninaomba Mungu, ninatoka nikishughulika kutafuta kuni kwa maana sina ng'ombe ya kulisha, na niende kwa majirani pia nione kama nitapata lishe ya watoto. Hatuna ajira, wamama hawana ajira na pia wazee hawana ajira.
The Maasai women are now bearing the greatest brunt of the drought effects and are now forced to be families' breadwinners, while most men struggle to rise after their sources of income were taken away by the drought.
Mifugo yote yameangamia. Kwa sasa hivi ili ambayo kwa sababu ng'ombe ndio ilikuwa tegemeo kwetu kwa chakula hata kwa kulipa karo ya wanafunzi, sasa hivi tumekumbwa na changamoto sana. Na ili hali pia hatuna vibarua ambavyo tunaweza kufanya kwa pakubwa. Sasa tunategemea kina mama wao ndio wanapata vibarua kama ya kuchuma nyanya
Wanashughulika, unakuta ni mama ndio wapate chakula, ni mama ndio wapate school fees.
It's so hard for them because the place is harsh, the conditions are harsh for them to do their work or even to get what the small businesses. Most of them go very far to get the commodities that they can sell to the community so that they can get what they eat or what they can feed the family with.
The men in the community further defended themselves, saying that the reason as to why they don't turn up to receive relief food is because it is a taboo to their community.
Na kulingana na desturi zetu hapa hivi, kitu kama msaada, kwa sababu wanaume hawajazoea kutumika ama kutegemea msaada, inakuwa na ugumu fulani baba kwenda kusimama kwa laini kuchukua msaada.
Selling livestock could be one of the solution, but mass losses incurred by farmers in the region has made them to call on more well-wishers to donate food as well as safeguard their remaining livestock, which are at the verge of succumbing to hunger. Nation Kabale, TV47.
A team set up by the Pakistani government to probe into the killing of a well-known Pakistani journalist in Nairobi said it found several contradictions in the version given by Kenyan authorities and believes it was a case of premeditated murder. A Sharif who had fled Pakistan citing threats to his life was shot dead in Nairobi in October in what Kenyan authorities said was a case of mistaken identity, and police hunting car thieves opened fire on his vehicle as it drove through a roadblock without stopping a two-member fact-finding team from Pakistan that traveled to Kenya and conducted a number of interviews, examined and reconstructed the crime scene, and examined the deceased phones and computers, said in a 600-page report that Sharif's killing was a pre-planned murder. A report by Transparency International shows that Kenya loses an approximately 608 billion shillings, which is about 7.8% of the national gross domestic product, through corruption annually. Speaking to the media, Transparency International Western Region Coordinator Elizabeth Duya said that over 135 draft cases of corruption that led to loss of over 160 billion shillings in the past years were registered in the court. In 2020, the country lost over 1.2 billion shillings and 2 cases registered in court, while over 140 billion shillings was lost to the process of corruption in 2019, with 26 cases registered. Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa affirmed his commitment to fight graft by ensuring that those found culpable will face the law.
Much EACC for gracing our occasion. Interact with the officer from the EACC. Get operation comes.
Ikifika kwa polisi, tunaona kwamba kuna cases nyingi ambazo wameweza kufikisha mahakamani, lakini shida inakuja kwamba ikifika hapo sasa tunaona kwamba cases nyingi zinatupiliwa mbali. Na hiyo ni swali ambalo pia sisi tunajiuliza, kwa nini cases zinatupiliwa mbali? Ukiangalia mahakama inasema hakuna evidence ya kutosha. Kwa hivyo tunaweza kuangalia kwamba labda huenda ikawa kuna gap mahali. Ni ile evidence haitoshi ama kweli shida iko mahali gani?
We are performing badly in matters corruption, and we have been witnessing dropping cases by DCI and losing billions of taxpayers' fund. So it means that we need to do more on awareness creation as the county, to be specific, in Kakamega, because we still have issues like pending bills. We still having issues of law underperformance in revenue collection.
The county government of Mombasa has assured residents and visitors of heightened security during the festive season. County Police Commander Stephen Matu says that security personnel have already been deployed to hotspot areas as prone to crime for security management. They have also cautioned citizens against breaking traffic rules as cases of road accidents tend to increase during this period.
Ningetaka kuambia wananchi wa Mombasa na wale wageni wote wanakuja Mombasa ya kwamba tumeimarisha usalama Mombasa kona zote. Mtu yeyote anataka kuja hapa Mombasa asiogope sababu polisi tuko imara. Zile area kama Kisauni tumeweza kuweka usalama ya kutosha, maafisa wa kutosha kutoka kwa National Police Service na County Enforcement Officers. We are working together as a team tuhakikishe kwamba Mombasa iko salama. Kwa hivyo watu wasiogope.
Na hii wakati watu wengi watakuja hapa pwani kusherehekea na hapa Mombasa sana, tunaomba watu wawe waangalifu kwa barabara. Wenye wanatumia mvinyo watumie njia zingine za kusafiri, wasiendeshe magari, but hatukatazi watu kutumia mvinyo. Watumie mvinyo lakini wasiendeshe magari. Kitu ya pili ni kwamba wenye wana magari waangalie wale wanatembea. Mombasa kiwango cha 70 huwa wanatembea. Kwa hivyo wenye magari tuwe waangalifu kwa wale watu wako barabarani, wawe wanawaangalia ili tusiweze kuwagonga. Na hao wa kutembea waweze kutumia mahali penye kuna stahili, kama ni kivukio, na kama ni kutembea watembelee mahali penye kumetengwa kwa wenye kutembea.
The government is mulling the commercialization of TVET innovations across the country that will help students earn through their skills. Speaking during the Cascade Institute of Hospitality graduation in Thika that saw 204 students graduate, Deputy Director of TVET Joseph Kanyi, who represented Principal Secretary for TVET Dr. Margaret Mwakima, says commercialization will help in bridging the job and employment rates in the country. Kanyi noted that government is keen on maximizing inputs to TVETs, which remains fundamental in improving skilled works in line with its agenda of creating millions of jobs across the country.
So what we are looking at is that we are intending to start incubation centers in those TVET colleges, so that those students, those with viable projects, they are incubated in our colleges for like 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. When they are incubated, the idea is fine-tuned. By incubating, we are bringing on board other government agencies like Kenya Bureau of Standards, Kenya Intellectual Property Institute, and more so KIRDI, Kenya Institute of Industrial Research. We put them together. We ensure that these innovations are commercialized.
The curriculum that we are training is called the Confederation of Tourism and Hospitality, a very competent-based curriculum that equips students with skills that enable them to be able to take opportunities, global opportunities, local opportunities. We also train our students to be creative and become job employers themselves. We decided to go global. We are partnering with global firms that recruit hospitality and tourism students or employees, so that we can export our students in the hospitality and tourism as a labor for the hospitality and tourism department.
And as an institution, we worked so hard to ensure that the curriculum we are offering is a ready job market, whereby once we release our students, they are not looking for employment, but more of it, they are self-employed. And that is why we chose to pursue the curriculum of CTH, which is a UK-based curriculum, so that our learners can be equipped more well on skill-based learning.
Various civil society organizations in Mombasa County has today met to mark the end of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, as well as International Day of Human Rights set aside to bring citizens together to champion for policies that will safeguard rights of all. Our Mombasa-based reporter Paul Muniu is attending the event and now joins us live.
Well, thank you so much, Limuki. We are coming to you live from Mombasa County, where we are marking the 75th International Day of Human Rights, and of course, marking the end of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which began on 25th of November, that is last month. And of course, what these civil society organizations are doing is to champion for the rights of people, including people living with disabilities. And of course, I just wanted to, touch down on the theme of this year's Human Rights Day, which says that it is dignity, freedom, and justice for all. Now, remember, everyone is entitled to these rights, which include the rights of life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, as well as freedom of opinion, expression, and the right of work and education. And this are some of the rights that they will be championing from today. And of course, they have already started to do that. And I just want to hear what they have been able to achieve, what their milestone as for now. So I want to speak to one of the activists. He will introduce himself. Tell us, what are we doing today and what are we commemorating today?
Okay, my name is Zedekia Dika. I am an advocate at Kituo cha Sheria, but I also chair the Coast Civil Society Network, the fraternity of the civil society players in the coast. Today we are here to celebrate International Human Rights Day. We are marking the celebrations of the milestones that we've covered over the year. Today we have here colleagues from Nairobi, the entire coast region, and our focus is on dignity and accountability on people that have been killed on extrajudicial killing over the years. We note that the president disbanded the unit that was accused of meting all these violations to Kenyans, but then we are still calling for accountability and that the families can receive reprieve for themselves. They need to be listened to, and the call here is that the government need to set up a proper inquiry to investigate the death and executions that happened during that difficult period.
Are you receiving a boost from the members of the general public in fighting these particular issues that are facing the country?
Yes, we work closely with communities where we work, going down to areas where we have even paralegals playing their role. We have justice players in the community, and what we do is we do it on behalf of that community. So the community has been very supportive to the civil society players in the coast. Yeah.
I would love to know, what can we learn as a country from other nations that are doing well to safeguard human rights?
In my view, we need to chart our own way forward. We've had our problems, including in the coastland, problems that lead to violations. We've had problems of extrajudicial killing that we are talking about. We have victims here. We are listening to them. We must set standards for respect and protection of human rights as the coast and as Kenyans, without even looking elsewhere. But then we must also be in solidarity with the entire universe fraternity, especially in violations that have happened recently in Iran, where one person has been executed, the wars in Congo, the wars in Ethiopia, and the challenges that are happening in the Middle East. We must call for respect for human rights for all in the universe.
Can that be achieved with the current policies that the government has put in place, or do we have, to make reforms of these policies?
Yes, it behoves us to look into the reforms, into the legal structure that we have, and improve the laws that exist, so that we ensure that there are proper policies, but also implement them. But also, even without the law in itself, the legitimacy of practicing what is right is what we are calling for. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, that has been Adika from the Haki Africa organization, and of course, it has which organization again?
It's Kituo cha Sheria.
Yes, Kituo cha Sheria. I got that wrong, and of course we shall be here just to get their views, and of course we will be bringing this later into our subsequent bulletin. So far so good. Back to you, Limuki, in the studio.
Thank you, Paul Muniu, for that. Moving on. Police in Kirinyaga have called for sober dialogue between couples in case of misunderstanding in a bid to curb the rising cases of domestic violence. According to Sitna Faraj, the administration police commander in Kirinyaga, many women and children have lost their lives as a result of domestic violence that has become rampant in the county. Faraj has encouraged residents who received threats from their partners to report the matter to the police for investigations. Sheila Mwangi, County Chief Officer for Gender, has announced that the county will add the number of rescue centers for domestic violence victims and enhance post-violence care and legal action.
Hiyo domestic violence iko sana na ndio iko sana inaendelea. Kwa hivyo tuchungane, na wewe ukisikia bwana amekwambia nitakuua, piga report mara moja. Usikae, mnakaa wewe unatoroka unaenda kisha unarudi. Unaenda ukirudi unasikia hiyo story, mtu anasema alikuwa ameenda, jirani anasema amerudi tena, tunasikia kila siku anapiga kelele, baadaye matokeo ni hayo.
We're intending to have GBV call centers, and we are intending to continue to sensitize the public on matters GBV and create a rapid response initiative forum for such cases. People tend to, when you hear the word gender, you associate it directly with the women and girls, but we are slowly adapting to the fact that men are undergoing GBV, and hence there's a rise in statistics which we are trying to curb in all ways possible.
The government of Kirinyaga County is committed to implementing programs to prevent and address gender-based violence. Sheila Mwangi from the Department of Gender and Youth said Kirinyaga has seen upsurge in GBV that has occasionally resulted in deaths when speaking at an event to mark the 16-day activism against GBV at Kamigo Polytechnic grounds. The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an annual international campaign that kicks off on 25th November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and runs until 10th December. Human Rights Day, he said county administration is committed to reducing the cases through various interventions at the community level.
And these issues, we can't deny that they have been on the rise. We have seen all over the media that Kirinyaga, those issues of gender-based violence have been on the rise. But us as the county assembly, we know our work. It is legislative and also it is representation. So we have been able to come up with various legislative policies, including the gender-based violence that you have just heard from the chief officer. It was through a motion that was done by the caucus.
More than 450,000 households that are not registered members of the NHIF program are the focus of Kiambu County Governor Dr. Kimani Wamatangi's administration in an effort to lower the cost of health care. Wamatangi said his government has set aside over 100 million shillings that will purchase drugs from KEMSA to ensure all hospitals within Kiambu County has adequate drugs. KEMSA Director Joel Muturi stated that the organization is committed to providing drugs in the county since it has the capacity to do so without complicating the county's healthcare system. The MCAs welcome the governor's initiative to stock all hospitals in the county so that he can deliver to Kiambu residents.
Sisi kama county government tumeweka kando pesa 100 million shillings ambayo tumeweka ndio tuungane na watu wetu wa NHIF. Hizi kadi ya universal healthcare tufanye utaratibu wa kuendelea mwezi kwa mwezi tukitembea kule mashinani. Target yangu kama governor wenu, I'm targeting 1 million people, watu wa Kiambu to begin with. Wenye kila mtu atakuwa na kadi yake ambaye inamwakilisha yeye na familia yake kama ako na familia. I want us to finish hii utaratibu wa kusema ya kwamba watu wetu wanapata universal healthcare wakati yako kwa kitanda ya hospitali ya Kigoje.
Farmers in Trans Nzoia County have been asked to embrace crop diversification, especially coffee farming, as a way to ensure that the nation is food secure, as well as doubling their sources of income. Our reporter Boniface Barasa reports.
As meeting in Trans Nzoia County, farmers have been asked to embrace coffee farming as an alternative cash crop to increase their sources of income.
As a county, we've been in crop diversification, and coffee has been one of the key crops that we've been promoting in the county. Trans Nzoia, as a county, produces one of the best coffees that you can have on the market. Therefore, my call on the farmers is that let us set aside some pieces of land, and everybody else should engage in coffee farming.
Some of the coffee farmers we spoke to have revealed that coffee farming is more profitable than maize farming.
Nimelima kahawa eka moja ambao ninapata mapato ambao inanisaidia kwa ajili ya school fees ya watoto, na hata imefanya pia nimejiendeleza kimaisha kulingana na kahawa.
A youth farmer in coffee. I was attracted mainly to the coffee business by its proceeds. Where we sold around 10 bags of parchment and we got 400k. My main message to the youth is it's high time we should stop acting like flower girls.
On his part, Agriculture CEC in Trans Nzoia County, Fanis Hatundi, say that they are developing a plan to provide coffee seedlings to farmers as one way to improve and strengthen the value chain.
Tuna provide hizo seedlings kwa wakulima na tunaeleza wakulima wasihangaike kupata hizo seedlings, wakuje kwenye ministry yetu tuwapatie at a subsidized price.
The stakeholders argue that coffee contributes more to the national income, so there is need for agriculture to be strengthened in the country.
We try as much as possible to connect our coffee farmers through aggregated groups to the coffee markets, and we target the European and the US markets. So for us, this is very important, all the way from production to market access for our coffee farmers.
It is estimated that 80% of farmers in Trans Nzoia County are maize producers, while others cultivate coffee and tea, especially in the Cherangani area. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Well, that story by Boniface Barasa brings us to the end of our bulletin this